I have John McGrath and Donna Ross. Welcome to the Senate Committee. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm from Macomb County, and I was a ballot challenger on Monday the 2nd at TCF, and on Tuesday, the election day, I wanted to work at the polls because I heard, things about the polls. So on Tuesday...
Can I interrupt you for just a second? Can you talk a little louder for the
sure.
microphone? That'd be great.
Closer.
Thank you.
So Monday I worked at TCF, and I watched them, on Monday they were taking the ballots out of the outer envelope. And it went pretty smooth, I have to admit. There were a couple of things that concerned me, and I, addressed them. One was 80% of the ballots that were at my table 93 were closed with packaging tape. And I thought that was odd. 83%, like 80% of the ballots were closed with packaging tape. That seemed different to me. Another thing that I thought was like horrible is whoever like marked the outside, the ballot number on the outside of the outer envelope, they wrote it in like a light green crayon. And so you couldn't, 6 feet away, you couldn't see if that ballot number matched the ballot number that was marked on the outside of the envelope. And then, what I thought was odd was the people that were just taking the ballot out of, they were taking the ballot out of the inner sleeve, these two ladies, and they were turning it around so that the number would be on top. They'd take it out, they'd open it up, they'd look at it, fold it back up, put it in to make sure the number was on the top. But they had ink pens, and I thought, why did they have ink pens by where they're at? So I kind of brought a lawyer over, and we thought, why do you need an ink pen by where they were at? All their job was to turn the ballot over. So that day wasn't, that bad. Then the next day I went to Henry Ford High School. Is that all right?
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, Henry Ford High School. And when when I was the only Republican in the gymnasium, there were 6 precincts. And after like about 2 hours, I realized they were giving out ballots to people that had an absentee ballot red question mark next to their name. And so I kind of like stopped the process, and we went around and everyone was giving out ballots to people that had that question mark. And we ended up calling the war room in Lansing, because I said, no, they have to call the clerk and have the ballot spoiled before they can issue him another ballot. And they didn't agree with me, so we got that straightened out, and that was true. They had to call the clerk. Well, the clerk wasn't answering. They weren't getting any answers. So I know they were just continuing to give people ballots that had, the question mark, because no one would answer at the clerk's office. And when I went to precinct 275, the girl, I said, what are you doing when they have the question mark? She goes, oh, I just write their names down. And she had a list of like 25 people. I go, no, that's not the process. And she goes, what do you mean? And it turned out she wasn't even a poll worker. She was supposed to be a Democratic poll challenger. But when she got to the building, she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't, obviously she wasn't trained well, because she didn't even know what her job was.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh.
But I mean, to me, people got 2 ballots.
Thank you. Senator Lucido.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Nancy. You mentioned lawyers. How many lawyers were there?
There was probably 5 Democratic lawyers.
5 Democratic lawyers. How many Republican lawyers?
There wasn't one until like 5 o'clock. I was there 6:30 in the morning. She didn't come until 5 in the evening.
What time did you get there?
6:30.
What time did you leave?
8:30. No one could. I finally left. None of them could, balance their
Did
books.
any of the lawyers or make statements regarding this hand truck, cart, dolly that had all these ballots in it?
No, that's at the TCF. I was at a high school.
Okay.
But the one lawyer said, well, he was going to take that list of 25 and he was going to spoil the ballots. I don't know.
All right, that gives me some idea. But there was no lawyers where you were, except Democratic lawyers? How'd you know there were Democratic lawyers?
They told me. I was the only Republican in the whole room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you very much for
You're
your
welcome.
testimony. Did you submit things in writing?
I did, and a
Okay.
video
Okay.
affidavit.
Thank you.